Hi, I'm Sue Greenwald with awakenstories.com, and I'm here with my Jedi friend, Cheryl Davis. Hey, Cheryl, how are you?
Hi, Sue. How are you?
Good. We're having a little technical problems today, so if something freezes up, we'll just keep going until it unfreezes. Um, the other day we had talked about past life experiences, and Cheryl wanted to clarify what she was getting about whether we were like a 1-to-1 ratio with a past life, a past person to this physical body. Are we that specific energy fully, or in my opinion, we were just a fractal of that person? So can you tell us what your new thought is on that?
Sure. Well, everything could change after the
Yeah,
crystalline chamber, after we download possible new information, right? But
yeah,
for right now, what I'm getting is it's 1-to-1. However, there's a lot of people that can tap into that energy so much that they can firmly believe that they were that person, and they can actually have memories of that person.
right.
So I guess it's a combination of, when you said fractal, everyone has fractals. So it's both,
Yeah.
where people can tap into that. But I think that's normal. You can tap into other energies if you're in the right, frequency.
Okay. Okay. When I've talked to my daughter about my famous lifetime past lives, I said, was I ever anyone else famous? And you know what her answer was? Not on this planet.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, so there are three lifetimes that I was someone that people would know. And one of them I choose not to talk about at this point, for a specific reason. But today our topic is angels, and I guess we wanted to talk about that because you had so many nice stories about how you were saved by angels. So in so what I guess I'd like to do is preface that by saying, in my opinion, angels are energetic beings, and they can take any form. They can be invisible, they can be a light, they can have a humanoid form or whatever. And that's why when you were doing your delivery job, you would see, let's say, a homeless person, and you'd ask me, was that an angel or was it someone else? And I'd say yes. So they can take many forms. So, and I know they've saved me, and I have so many angel stories that, of course, I can't think of right now, but I have a couple I'd like to share, and also a couple that friends have experienced that kind of dovetail into what you're going to be talking about. So,
Perfect.
yeah. So, tell us a couple of your angel stories.
I have a lot of angel stories. I actually utilize angels every day. They work with dragons also. But the angels, I help, I send angels to people every day. I ask angels to help myself every day. But the one story I do want to talk about in particular, which I sent to you already, it was when I was driving on a delivery. I was actually headed to the mall, and it was late at night. And I'm thinking they were about to close. It was a late night restaurant. I was picking up food from them for a customer, and I had fallen asleep on the highway. And it's a very strange exit, because the exit to the mall is literally off the highway where you're going 65 miles an hour for the speed limit. And literally it's maybe 150 feet away is the mall parking lot. So you don't have very much time. And I had fallen asleep, and all of a sudden I wake up and there is the exit. So I hurried
Wow.
and turned the wheel over. It was one of those. And why? I could have just gone to the next exit, right? But I wasn't thinking, because I had fallen asleep and I just didn't want to miss the exit.
Right,
And I
right.
also knew they were about to close, so I didn't want to miss it. So I went off the exit ramp, and it was way too fast, because I don't know if it was 15 or 25 miles an hour. It was very slow. I think it was probably 15, because it was going into a mall. I think I had told you 25 though. And I was definitely going at least 45 miles an hour on this curve. It was extremely sharp. And I know I went off the road. And next thing I know, I blacked out. I saw the car going off the road. And the next thing I know is I'm back on the ramp going at a slower speed, and I'm turning on it very perfectly, and I go into the mall, and I'm a little frazzled at this point, and I pull over in the parking lot, and no one's around because the mall is basically closing, and it's just this outside restaurant that I'm kind of near, that's nearby. And I had a flat tire. So, because I was kind of shaking, wondering, did that just really happen? And I knew it did. And what had happened was, and I had verified this with people the next day, is that Smarty fixed me. So I went off the road, I got really hurt, and he put me back together and put me back literally on the ramp. It's almost like I went back in time, and I was completely healed. I didn't have a scratch on me. And there were lots of angels around me. The person that I called for help to change the tire showed up in a very short period of time. I actually called a loved one to let them know what was happening, and they showed up right away. And I told them, you don't need to come here. But they're like, no, I insist. They're like, something's telling me that I need to be with you. So it was like a situation that I like downplayed, but I knew it was much, much, much bigger than what it was.
Yeah.
And you know, what's so interesting is that was the time that we were all on the Real Truth call. Smarty brought up the situation the very next night. And I didn't tell you this in the story, that he had said that he had to heal someone last night. And this person, she has no idea I did it. And I kind of knew, but I didn't really know for sure, but that was partial validation. And I really didn't honestly want to admit it at the time, because first of all, I can't believe I did such a thing that could have completely been avoided.
Yeah.
But he healed me. And there were lots of angels around me to make sure that the rest of that night went really well.
Wow. That's an amazing story.
Mm-hmm.
I used to, when I lived in Pennsylvania, I had a friend, we would talk at least an hour a day about conspiracy and cool spiritual stuff. And she told me a story where she was driving, she was on the left lane on an expressway. There was a tractor trailer to her right. And she was driving probably like 80 to get home. And all of a sudden she remembers hitting her head on the ceiling and being slammed down. And instead of being to the left of the tractor trailer, she was now in front of it by so many feet, you know, going with traffic. And she called me at that exact moment and was telling me about it. And I said, you were saved, and or you know, there's something you need to know here. I kept encouraging her to do a past life regression or a regression to figure out what happened, because I knew something happened. Well, about a year ago, she called me and she goes, you know, that car I was driving, remember that time? She said, that was a brand new car. And I took it into the mechanic and he asked what broke the frame of the car. So she was like saved or dropped or whatever, just a mysterious happening. But it's so interesting, isn't it?
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what exactly happened, but it's kind of like you could have been extremely seriously hurt. You probably were.
Mm-hmm.
And you just happened to kind of recognize it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know you had a few kind of angelic interventions, like divine interventions where you were saved, going through an intersection, and there were a few others similar, right?
Right, absolutely. The one with the intersection, I was at a new to an area, and I hadn't really driven that area before, and it was a very busy night, and I'm driving through it at full speed and didn't realize that the lane changes and there's a median now there. And there was a heavy flow of traffic because it was Friday night. Restaurants were nearby, and all of a sudden, just all these people were on the road to go out to dinner.
Yeah.
And there was no way possible. There's no way possible that I could not have hit a car. And I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, it was like in a flash, My car was moved. The other cars around me were moved around, and there was space in between. And
Yeah.
I was driving through perfectly. And before this, all the cars around me were beeping like crazy. And there was nothing I could do because I wasn't familiar with this intersection.
Yeah. Yeah.
But after it happened, I went back a couple days later and I looked at the whole situation. And then I asked, to get validation.
Yeah.
And it was confirmed that I had angels help me through the intersection.
Right.
And they slowed my car down and moved the other cars all out of the way. So there were no accidents on anyone. I mean, it was a complete miracle.
Yeah. It's so interesting how you don't like have conscious recollection of it. Probably the other drivers don't either, isn't it? Like you just are like, wait, how do I make it
100%.
through, safely?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. But, I think though, since you have so many good being saved by angel stories, you probably have like through the years developed that consciousness where something isn't right and you kind of put it together at this point, probably way back when you weren't able to do it quite as easily as now. And I know for me, it's like I have a knowing about things, or I can discern something a lot easier now than I could even a year ago. So it's good.
It's called experience with a lot of folks.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my one of my first real like, oh my God, I was saved experiences was, let's just say 20 something years ago. And I did write this in the blog. I was at an intersection and I had a minivan and I used to write in my day timer. Like I wouldn't, turn and look at it. I would write in it, without looking at it. And I still had I had the pen in my hand like this at the steering wheel, waiting to take a left turn. And I had the pen firmly gripped, but the pen was ripped out of my hand and it kind of fell under my foot where it didn't feel like it was safe to drive that way. So when the light turned green, instead of going out, I kind of like bent down real quick and easy to get the pen out. And just then a tractor trailer hammered through the spot I would have been in. He ran the red light. I for sure would have been dead because that dude was going way faster than he should have been. It was probably a 40-mile-an-hour, and of course, whoever follows that, but this guy was going like 80 and he was hammering through a red light. So I knew at that moment I was saved by the angels or my guardian angel, whoever. And I said, thank you right then. And I've done that a few times. I've known I've been saved and I thank them immediately. But sometimes you're not as aware of it and you don't realize what's happened. It's like kind of like you're in a dream. Like, I feel like something just happened,
Right. It's almost like your thoughts and your feelings aren't all together.
Yeah.
So you're kind of shocked, in a state of shock for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
That makes you aware of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I before I moved to Arizona, I lived in Pennsylvania and I had a very cool, it was kind of a retro looking townhouse. It had 1 billion levels. I'm joking, but it had a very open staircase. So there was a railing on the inside, but not the outside. And they were big, wide, shiny wood, polished stair treads, but they were open so you could see through them. And I always wondered about them because a lot of older people lived in that complex. And I always wondered how they, made it through without falling down those stairs. Well, so I lived there for 5+ years. Of course, right before I was going to move, I fell down the stairs and my feet went out and I am flying through the air. And the weird thing is my brain was moving so fast. Like, I think it was adrenaline. Like as I'm flying, I've got like 1 billion questions going through my mind. I knew I was in trouble. Like I live alone and this was a serious fall and it's like slow motion. But I heard my head crack on the edge of the stairs and I heard my jaw snap shut. I heard the sounds and I thought, I hope I live through this. I didn't think I was going to live. So off I go flying through the air. And I felt like something wrapped me kind of like a taco. Like, I know that sounds weird, but it felt right at the very end, I was wrapped. I still did fall, but it wasn't like the slamming fall that I thought I had. So, I got, I'm laying on the stairs looking around, am I alive? Feeling everything. So my upper arm had a very deep bruise, like one of those green purple bruises that was pretty bad. My head never even touched the stairs. Like I should have probably been dead. And I was, limping around sore. I twisted my knee, that kind of stuff. But here I am. All right. So I did ask Smarty about that. He had gone to my house to do a couple things. And I asked him about the staircase fall, and he just kind of smiled. And he kind of implied that I had been saved. I'm not sure who had done it, but I think it felt like an angel. Maybe it was him. Doesn't matter. But I felt like kind of wrapped in a blankie right before I hit. So that was so cool. And I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That what
Yeah.
I mean, you felt your head, you felt your jaw.
It was crazy.
Yeah, like there's absolutely no way
Yeah.
that you did not have help. You absolutely 100% had help.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, there was not, I mean, my head, like I heard the noise. That's the weird thing. So maybe I was put into a different timeline. Maybe the time was rolled back. I don't know what happened. I heard the noise of my head hitting. And that's when I thought I could die. Like this was like it was so hard. And like the fact that I had no injury was so bizarro and awesome. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful for our
Yeah.
angels and
Yeah.
for Smarty and for Daddy Source.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
creator. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. I know I've been saved a lot. And like sometimes it's just I'm just living my life. Sometimes I do stupid things, but I've been saved a lot, but I recognize it now where a few years ago I probably didn't. Yeah.
100% I agree. And I
Mm.
ask now
Yeah.
ahead of time, energetic wise. Is it in my best interest to go do like these errands today, or this is what I plan on doing
Yeah.
today? I will ask. I mean, I'm guided anyway on what my
Yeah.
plan is for the day. But if I feel a little uncertain, I'll definitely ask. And also I'll ask for protection, which we're protected anyway.
Yeah.
But if I just feel like I need a little bit of support to make the
Yeah.
situation easier,
Yeah.
especially if
Yeah.
I'm headed into an event or something that I feel the energy there may
Yeah.
need a little bit of clearing, I'll ask angels to come help.
Yeah. Yeah. Another, I used to teach yoga at a really high-end retirement home, and I also taught meditation there. And what I found working with the older people is that they used to get amazing visions because they were very open to it. And consider this, like the average, like say 30, 40-year-old, like we're running around, we got kids, we got to do this, we got to work, our brains are cluttered. Well, the older people that came to this class, their brains are no longer cluttered. They have the day open, and they were very open and receptive. So one couple had come to me with a car story where they were driving along in their car, and I think like a delivery truck or something stopped suddenly in front of them, and they couldn't stop in time, but their car was like picked up and moved in front of the delivery truck. And they were both in the car, of course, kind of like awake. And they both came to me and told me about that and said, we wanted to tell you about this experience because there was no way that could have happened. There was no way we could have avoided that accident. And then our car was up ahead of this truck. So things like that happen. Now, we don't always remember them. So it's cool that you remembered, the one with your flat tire, you remember that,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had another one too. I was actually at my mom's house, my mom in St. Louis, and walking outside on her front porch. I was ready to go. So I was walking, really fast and had a lot of things on my mind, and walked off the porch. I wasn't, I don't know what I was
Yeah,
thinking. I just,
it
the foot that
happens.
has an edge, it has like 3 feet or maybe 2.5 feet, where it stops the cement, and it drops into the
Yeah,
dirt,
yeah,
into our little garden. And I fell off, and how I was headed, my head was actually going into her house, the siding of her house. And I was going full force, like into her bushes. And it was just going to be a very, very hard fall. And meanwhile, my brother was there out in the yard, and he turned around because he heard this, like all this crazy
right,
crash.
right.
I'm like falling off. And all of a sudden, I felt this like cushion, like how you said you felt like you were in like a cushiony, like taco
Yeah,
almost.
yeah, yeah.
That's how I felt. Where all of a sudden it slowed down, like time slowed down. So it was going very slow. And I was wrapped up in, like, I don't know, it was a bandage, maybe it was a love blanket. I don't know. And I never hit the side of the house. And the speed I was going and the angle I was going, it was absolutely impossible for me not to hit the house. But I did. I didn't. And instead, it's almost like I had a couple more steps to grab my balance. And
Right.
I fell, but it was very cushiony. I didn't hit any rose bushes. I didn't hit the house. And it was almost like a very soft fall. And it was almost enjoyable, if I can say that, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with me. And my brother actually was freaking out because he saw the whole thing, and he just couldn't believe it happened. And if I didn't
Right.
have a witness,
Yeah.
I would have
Right.
thought, did that just actually happen? But I had someone, but I had a witness the whole thing. And I was 100% fine. I got up and he ran up to me, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm totally fine. Like, let's go."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm on my way. Like, it was as if nothing happened. I'm 100% certain angels saved me.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much harm I would have done, but I 100% am confident that they cushioned my fall. They changed the position on how I actually fell, and slowed it all down. So they saved me on that one too.
Yeah. I was talking to my dad before he passed away, and he told me a story. You know how older people often repeat their stories through their lifetime. This was a new story, and I was fascinated. So my son and I listened, and my dad was he was born during the Depression, and there was no money, no work. So he and his mom had gone down to Florida both to work, and he would cut through like a betting place. It was a big parking lot with wherever they went to bet. I don't know what it would be called. And he would run through there. You know how kids cut cross lot to get to where they're going. Well, that's what they did when he lived there. He didn't live there a long time. And he said on this day, there was a kid that was a little older. His name was Milton. And Milton that day cut a piece of like garden hose and put it up his sleeve for some reason, which is an odd thing to do in general. And then they went about their day. I don't know what they did, but on the way back, these two guys were trying to get the boys to get into the back of the car. And of course, the boys were reasonably smart. They ran away, but the car with these two guys kept following them. And so the boys run into the parking lot, they're going to go cross country to get home. And on this particular evening, the parking lot was dark. The street lights were out and everything. It was closed. So, the boys are running through, the car pulls up, but this time, this is like maybe the third or fourth time the driver comes up to them. The driver grabs Milton by the shirt and he's trying to suck him into the car. Well, Milton whips out the garden hose and whacks the guy smack dab across the face, and they run. Well, it's dark. So my dad was like thin, but tall but thin. So he didn't have a lot of muscle at that time. And so they're running, and Milton puts my dad behind like a phone pole, and he says, "Stay here." And the car revs up and full on is going to run these boys over like top speed. Do you believe that? So the car revs up and smashes head on, going full tilt into the phone pole. And I think the guys died. I actually do. I think they were bad guys and they got killed. Well,
Wow.
like I'm shocked at this story. Sorry that it's so long, but I said to my dad, like, what happened to Milton? He goes, I never saw him again. So this boy, who I think was an angel, saved my dad. Like, that's a big deal,
Wow, I'm getting chills right now.
Yeah,
I'm getting,
yeah,
I'm getting that. That's true. I mean,
yeah. So this would have been like probably the 40s. And it was like in the Fort Walton Beach area, which is a nice area of Florida. But again, way back then, Florida was really not developed and commercial like it is now. So yeah, I feel like that was an angel saving my dad.
absolutely, that was an
Yeah.
angel.
Yeah, in disguise,
100%.
Yeah. Isn't it cool?
It's very cool.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for angels. They help all of us.
Right.
More so than what we realize.
Right.
And I think we just have to take a step back and think about situations more. Like you said, slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you're more open to your experiences and the energies and the situation, I have been the last couple of years, and maybe that's part of why I feel I've been saved so many times. Who knows? Maybe they've been saving me this much. I don't think so.
Yeah.
As much as they have the last couple of years, but I'm definitely more aware of it, but I'm more in tune to it too.
Yeah.
So like what you were saying, over time, you just develop the sense to be able to determine where they are and who they are.
Yeah.
So,
and I think we've been saved so many times we don't even know it. And I think driving is a big category because, like we're not paying full attention when we drive, and you're interacting with other crazy people not paying attention, especially now with the phones and the texting and this and that. I bet there's a lot more angelic saves than we could even guess.
100%.
Yeah. I talk to the angels all day long, and I ask for stuff. I thank them. That's one little thing that we can do, just to say thank you for saving me or whatever. Where I used to live, I would light incense or a candle every day in honor of the angels and thank them for their assistance. And
what a great idea.
Yeah, it's a really minor little thing, but we're physical and we can do that and just say thank you for your help.
That goes a long way too.
Yeah, and then I got to enjoy it, of course. Yeah.
Right. Oh, absolutely. That's a great idea.
Yeah. I don't think I was saved by an angel in this case, but I think Daddy saved me. But this is a real story that happened about a year ago. I don't think I've written about it yet, so I don't remember what the date was, if it was 2020 or 2021. But I'm not a good sleeper. I'm a really light sleeper. But I am actually literally asleep, and I feel something press up against the back of my head. And I thought, oh shit. And I can't move fast enough, right? Like I awaken, I'm like, oh, and I got shot in the head. And I'm just going to say it hurt like a bitch. Like the pain was unbearable. And I get up, I'm on the side of the bed, like kind of like screaming or whatever, holding my head, feeling my head, no injury. But the pain dissipates, no injury. So this is the time, I think it was fall of 2020. I don't know if us guys, our Jedi group, we were under heavy attacks. And I don't really want to say where this group was coming from, but they were doing multidimensional portals to come in and do their thing and then portal out. Do you remember that time frame?
Absolutely. And I remember you getting shot too.
Yeah. So, because we were under heavy attack all the time, and it was like, really? And we were working on it, but we couldn't really figure out where they were always coming from. Well, they freaking portaled in, boom, and portaled out. but I was, obviously I've been saved. I felt the pain. I knew what was happening at the time, but I've been recreated. So I did ask Smarty, and I'm trying to remember if I saw him. I feel like I saw him in person somewhere. I don't know if it was at an expo or whatever. I said, I got shot in the head. Did you save me? And he laughed, said it wasn't me. He said it was Daddy. And I was like, cool. Thank you, Daddy. Because I knew I had been saved. I just didn't know specifically who. Once in a while, I'll be in bed and I hear Smarty laugh and run through the room. Like I'll see like a couple of lights floating around my room. And then I hear his cackle and he runs through the room or whatever he does, buzzes through. And I appreciate him checking in on me from time to time.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. But that wasn't the angels, I don't think. But yeah, those multidimensional attackers were bad. It took us like a month or two to get rid of them.
That was hardcore.
Yeah, it's hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any more angel stories that we haven't heard?
I'm sure there's more. I'm just not really thinking of any
Yeah.
at this moment.
It's all good. And is there anything you would tell the viewer, like how they can maximize their use of angels, like how they can use angels to their benefit and also be appreciative of the assistance that they receive?
The angels serve us. They're here for us. And I don't know if everyone knows that or not. They are literally standing around waiting to be given commands on how to help. They can't help unless they are given the command to help. So whether it's Daddy or Smarty or Archangel Michael or whomever, they have to be given the command. So we have the authority to command the angels.
Right.
So I always ask if I feel strange energy in the air, or if I know someone else is going through a situation, or if I had a thought about someone and I'm wrapping them in a love blanket, thinking, I automatically will send them angels and surround them with angels. And I usually give them triple the amount of angels than what's required, because I want the angels to actually have an easy job. Yeah. So if they need to like take turns and take time out and take breaks, they can. So it's true, because I want it to be easy for them, because they're helping us so much. Right. And so I do that a lot. Yeah. So we have, and that is a resource that we are allowed to use. And thanking them, appreciating them. They know I can't live without a day, honestly, without angels. I can't, or the dragons or Smarty or Daddy. I can't. They help us so much. Yeah. Yeah. It's, I'm so thankful for them. But yeah, like you said, just to be thankful and grateful. Yes. And just tell them how much you appreciate them. That goes such a long way, because they've saved our lives and they're helping us follow our source directives, follow our path to make it as easy and smooth as possible so we can enjoy our lives. And they are here to serve. They love helping us, but people love to be, and angels, they love to be appreciated. So the more you're grateful, the more I think that they're even willing to help even more. Right. Right. I talk to the angels all day long. And like, if I'm going out to a restaurant, I'll ask for a part. I know this sounds mundane. I ask for the awesome table, awesome meal, easy parking, the whole thing. And I usually get it. Like, I'm always surprised when I don't get it. But if you give them a little advance notice, that's always good, but I talk to them all day long. I thank them all day long. And I really appreciate it. In fact, so you have to ask for what you want. All right. So that's the first rule. But years ago, I wanted to get closer to Source, but I felt kind of awkward about talking to him. I know this, this is it. And I felt like, oh, he's too busy for me. Right. So I started talking to the angels because they were more approachable in my mind. Right.
So I talk to the angels. I would teach people to talk to the angels, ask for what you want, and then to thank them when you get what you want. Like, thanks for this awesome seat. Thanks for saving my life. It's real easy stuff. And if you're going to light a candle or incense or whatever, do it in their honor and just show appreciation, just like you would with anyone else.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah. But they are there to serve us, and they're doing so much more for us than we even know. So it'll be interesting that now that, we're more awake and aware, to see what happens in the future. We'll probably see even more and, get to meet some of them. It'll be exciting.
I agree. And I think it's great too, because a lot of the dark ones now are being cleared off of Earth.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually going to get more fun.
Yeah.
Where it can be more of, hey, I would like 4 rainbows, a river, and a pink stream today.
Yeah.
Like you said, ask for the fun, ask for what you want, and you can get a little bit more creative.
Exactly. Yeah.
And just enjoy your life a little more and have some fun with it. Because for me, honestly, a lot of it in the past was just helping others, helping myself, getting through situations. But a lot of that is being cleared out, and it's a lot of heavy lifting has been removed. Yeah. Where now I feel like the angels, they're gonna enjoy it more. I expect to hear them singing and playing musical instruments.
Oh, I have heard the angels sing. This is funny. Did a retreat years ago in North Carolina. So I think in this particular retreat, there were 12 of us. And literally the angels sang all night. And they kept me up, and I was pissy the next day. I woke up like, oh, I didn't get any sleep. And my friend and I said, I heard the angels singing all night and they wouldn't shut up and blah, blah, blah. And she said, like, yeah, I heard them too. And I was like, can you imagine we're mad about hearing angels sing? I said, well, how lame is that? But I was like, literally, they were singing all night. They were so loud, and they were having a good time. They were laughing, having a good time. And I was like, oh, guys, just turn it down. And it was pretty exciting. But at the time, I was just tired because I was working. So I had to be on my A game. So fun, isn't it? But I think it's going to be easier for us as time goes on. And I think it's going to be way more fun. I think we're through the worst, like for what we're doing. Not that we are resting or not helping. I think we're through maybe the most vicious parts, and that we still have to do cleanup, and there's going to be a lot of stuff to do here on Earth, but I think it's going to be a lot more fun than it has been.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. We are in the new reality.
Yes. Yay. Yay. All right. Well, thanks so much, Cheryl. I appreciate your time. This has been so fun and so interesting to do. I hope that people that are watching this, they get some ideas, or they're inspired, or they at least like the stories. They're real life stories. And what, we can do a few more of these little specialty topic videos. I love doing them.
Perfect. Yeah. I love talking to you because it helps me to remember a little more. Yeah. And also it helps me to share with others too. And your stories are great.
Awesome.
Your stories I love.
Well, I appreciate that. I was, like I said, guided to do it. I started kind of half-heartedly working on it last year, and kind of like lost my discipline there. And then I got the inspiration, like, no. So I'm not sure what the purpose is, but I'm getting great feedback from people. They're loving the stories, and I have a lot of them, and it's just really taking the time to write them down and put them out there. So that's what I'll be doing in my free time.
It's a wonderful path. I love it.
Yep. Thanks so much, Cheryl. So you can reach my website, awakenedstories.com, or you can see Cheryl's YouTube video site if you go to Source TV and then look under the channel section. Her channel is right under there. Thanks again, Cheryl. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sue.
All right. Bye-bye.
I appreciate you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.